Hey everyone, this is Jim with Bones Dent Repair. In my hands, I have one of my newest additions, paintless dent repair tools made by the Dent Slayer. This is going to be the 3-piece Johnson set with interchangeable tips. Really awesome nylon tip here. This one in particular has made its way onto my tool cart. That means it's going to be used in my daily rotation. This is something I found that I really needed. Just a dead straight tool you could put through a smaller access hole, get to the backside of a panel to start doing some reshaping. The fact that the tip is interchangeable also means that it's going to be very versatile, okay? I can use something plastic, maybe something to slide around. I can use something metal and hard, something rubber coated. I can change the diameter of the tip from sharp to blunt. That's going to allow me to fix a bunch of different dents in a lot of different scenarios, and ultimately is just really versatile. It's a 3-piece set. The other 2 are hanging up right there on my wall, along with the other collection that I've started to grow here. Dent Slayer is a company owned by a gentleman named Matt Boyette, awesome paintless dent repair technician, and become quite a businessman himself. He works with a tool manufacturer called A1 PDR Tools. They're made right here in America. Another key benefit of purchasing his tools. So what makes Dent Slayer tools so amazing? Well, Matt is just a killer technician. So you're getting these tool designs that are straight out of the brain of a mastermind tech, and that's exactly why they work. And they work on a lot of scenarios and a lot of vehicles. These are daily tools, the tools of your everyday technician, nothing special. They are special, but they're not specialty to where they're just gonna get hung on the wall and used in a special scenario, is what I should say. I really think that Matt knows most technicians want something that's gonna make them money. It's gonna be a value. It's gonna be a workhorse. And almost everything that he comes out with is stout, straight to the point, and no mystery to figure out. Now, I do say that with a caveat because, of course, I invest in very specialized tools because I take on very big dents, and you're gonna find yourself in a lot of scenarios where you need that particular bend to reach an area. So I'm gonna set down this first tool, and I'm gonna show you the 2 additional partners of that set. We got some larger diameters and some different lengths. So I believe that one is 24 inches. This is about 30. I think this is 36 or even 40 inches. So this is gonna be a 1/2 inch diameter rod. This one, I believe, is a 3/8 diameter. So they're gonna go through common access points found around a vehicle. Taking apart a grommet, taking apart different areas of the car, you're gonna be able to get these tools inside and do your reshaping. Really, really handy. I've grown to love those tools. Now, what really got me on this kick was my first few investments, I should say. And we're gonna start with the rat rod set. I think these came out maybe a year ago. Check out the unique design and hooking shape. Okay, so rat rod stands for restricted access tools. Don't let these skinnier diameters fool you. They're really pretty stout and got a lot of power and drive behind them. Now, restricted access tools, now that name is gonna come into play with this design. You see that hook? You can actually get that hook into a very small hole, something that's gonna have restricted access, but get a really big push by that big round head. Giving it it's just incredible what you can fix with this tool through such a small factory access point. So this tool set right here is an incredible value and has become very essential for those really tricky areas on quarter panels where you take a molding off. So that's something I've grown to really, really love that I have. It's saved me so much time and effort on repair work this year. Now, the big daddy tools that I'm gonna show next is gonna be this. This is the Dent Slayer. This is, I forget the size of the diameter. It's larger than a 1/2 inch diameter. Most standard larger bars that are gonna exceed 30 inches are gonna be made out of 1/2 inch diameter steel. This thing is like 7/16 or whatever it may be. You can check on the website. 36 inches long. You can see the difference in diameter of bar versus a standard tip. This thing is thick. Definitely a tool you have to have, okay? Vehicles are made out of pretty intense metal these days. They're stiff, they're strong. We've got aluminum, we've got high strength steel panels to deal with. This bar right here is gonna generate enough force, even when you're really reaching out to get a dent, to really be able to reshape the panel and have good control. You're not gonna be over pressing and trying to out muscle the bar itself. This thing's gonna do the work for you, and I really, really love it. I grab this way more often than I do my standard double bend that I had since the beginning of my PDR days. Now, the next tool, this thing is also just, it's amazing. You know, it's so simple, but it's amazing. It's just a straight bar. But you can see it's an interchangeable tip rod. You have an ability to put a tip on each end of this bar, and that's gonna let you get, before I continue to talk, this is the severed, I think called the severed King Slayer, the severed rod from Dent Slayer. Now, what I was gonna speak on is because you have this low profile design and a straight bar access, you can put a standard tip or even one of his shallow tips that he makes and get in really tight areas with a big stout bar. You can still fix a really difficult dent in a very tight access area with this. And that's what I meant by his everyday design work with his tools. I think he just understands that you need something that works in a lot of scenarios, and this is one of them. I oftentimes use this on a hood if I'm fixing a body line. I love that I can even use this bare metal rounded head. You just push right up in there and get the dent out really ultra clean. So the next set of tools that I bought recently from Dent Slayer is gonna be this 3-piece set, adjustable handle tools. These are gonna be upper door braces, around handles, you know, that smaller detailed work. And I don't know all the names of his tools, I'll be honest. Even though I am such a fan of his work over this past year, I think he's absolutely killing it. But check this out, really a nice big kick. You got a beautiful polished finished A1, does an amazing job. And you've seen how buttery smooth that handle is. I can just push in with my thumb and rotate the tool over, locking it right back into place. And look how stiff this tiny bar is. I mean, it's really gonna do the work for you in those tight access areas. And recently, I did a fender repair, big old crease, ugly thing. I glued on this rubber cap to protect the end. I was able to reach all the way back into the edge of a fender, and with twisting motion, got this giant crease out in no time. So this 3-piece set right here, an amazing value for what it is. You get adjustable handles. That's gonna save the torque on your body, especially when you're using something small, because you're gonna be using a lot more arm force than, let's say, a big bar. So we're gonna put these down, and we're gonna go ahead and open up the box that came in today, something I'm also really looking forward to. I did open this up on a Facebook Live video. I frequently am gonna be more active on Facebook, but I left the contents in the box, so I'll go ahead and share this with you now. So A1 does a great job packaging this up. I have the same UPS driver. This guy's super nice. He delivered this right to me, right into my hands. I was really excited for it. So in the packaging, the first product we have is the Slago. Now, I'll bring this a little closer to you. Check out this awesome logo design they did here. Awesome play on words. These are exactly like Legos, just built incredibly stout and strong. This tool right here, or product we should say, was made to protect the edges of panels. Us as paintless dent repair technicians, we're gonna take apart your car, we're gonna gain access to the backside of the panel, but we need to leverage these bars off of something in order to push out your dents. Oftentimes, we're gonna be using a very thin piece of metal to leverage against, and sometimes it gets bent. A little sacrificial, if you say. So this tool right here, you see this slotted channel design, is gonna fit right over that edge of metal, and then these knobs right here are gonna secure it in place. That way it stays put. And then you have this top surface that's been milled out really nice, aggressive, sharp points. It's gonna hold our bars in the perfect position as we push and leverage. So these Slego pieces, you also get that name because they fit together like Legos. Check this out. So depending the size of the metal you're working in, as far as access holes go, you can choose the correct piece to leverage your bar. It's gonna be extremely handy. I'm not gonna bend up as much metal. That means I don't have to correct as much when I wanna preserve things exactly how they were. Because if we bend an edge, we're straightening it back out. Now I will note as well, you can tell this isn't just some cheap piece of plastic. This looks like it was milled out of a solid block, and they did just an incredible job. It's actually quite hefty for plastic or composite. I don't know the exact material, but it has weight to it. This isn't some cheap thin piece that's gonna break and wear out quick. And for the money, I think it's super built. I think it's built incredibly well. I can tell this is just gonna hold up against all the pressure and force. This is a really hard material. And even this would be an area of concern. I can tell this is gonna hold up for quite some time. And for the cost of what this was, I believe $59.99, I think it's gonna do a tremendous job and a great value at that. So that's the Slego. This is something that I'm gonna keep in the bag, and it's definitely headed to my cart for me to use on a daily basis. It's really gonna improve the quality on the inside of the panels. Now, there was another sticker. This is a Dent Slayer sticker. Matt's got awesome branding. You know, I think a lot of people relate to his stuff. He's a great guy, great family. And the next tool I'm gonna show is something I knew I would use on fixing big dents. And this is gonna be his new hammer that he came out with. So this is a knockdown hammer. I believe in trying to move as much metal as possible all at once. So that means I'm taking not bigger hits, but I'm using bigger surfaces to move the metal, especially when knocking down. We want to flow metal back into place. So oftentimes, just like many others, I'm going to use a series of knockdowns. This is my little pouch I carry daily. Let's say I'm going to use a tip like this to knock down the metal of the panel. I'm going to use the backside of my blending hammer, which is more of a fine tool. This isn't something that you're beating stuff up with. You're gently tapping with this. So I often abuse this hammer that I love very much with my knockdown, striking the side. I even had to tape up the wood because I started to eat the wood up. This hammer's from Brazil. I don't want it to get damaged because this is what really fits me best. So knowing this, I did purchase, more of a blunt tool that I would do some knockdown work with, and I'll still continue to use this on edges, this big heavy mallet, but this doesn't have the right size and weight, and it doesn't have the right material. So when I seen that he was coming out with this shallow face hammer for knocking down and striking, I just had to buy it instantly. And let me give you some close-up looks. Hopefully we get a good focus of the finish of the head. This is second to none. This thing is done so well. Got the logo there, the blued finish. This is hardened steel. Now I just mentioned that hammer doesn't have the right material. Well, when you're knocking down, the energy is gonna transfer differently from a plastic surface compared to a metal surface. This is gonna drive the knockdown differently down into the panel and put the right kind of energy I want when distributing a big crown. So the weight feels great. The length is perfect. It's not big and unwieldy. You can see in my hand, only an additional 8 inches till you get to the head. I'm not gonna be misstriking. This is like a dead flat surface. It's not gonna roll off the head of a knockdown. I think it's gonna hit and perform awesome. This is a hickory handle. They stained it with some red stain, and they finished it just beautifully. That's really the only way to put it. I think the blued finish looks awesome. The design, I can already tell this is exactly what I needed to improve my knockdown game. I have various other hammers around my shop. The 3 I use the most, they hang right here. I don't know if I'm gonna replace one, but maybe this thing will end up right down here for my daily use. I have to find a new spot for it on the cart because I no longer want to use my blending hammer. So this really is covered most, if not all, of my Dent Slayer tools. Just doing a little peek around. Really happy I've invested into his tool brand. I've had a great time using his tools over the past year. They're definitely a lot different than the standard PDR rods that you find that are traditionally made. I think he has new designs that are fresh. They work incredibly well. They've made my life so much easier. I'm really thankful for it. And I can't wait to see what he comes out with next. Gonna keep buying as long as he keeps building. So just gonna wrap up this video, you guys. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Maybe leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about Dent Slayer's new tools and if you would purchase these yourself. If you need dent repair done on your vehicle, go ahead and visit bonesdentrepair.com. I'll go ahead and leave the link right here in the description, or you can go ahead and reach out to me by phone call, 772-834-0336. Always here to help. My shop location is here, 3180 Southeast Dominica Terrace in Stuart, Florida. Very easy to get to if you want to stop in for an estimate. So thank you so much, you guys. Take care.